let's jump right in, Shane. We've got Tyler Warren of Penn State at the top, and his career went quiet, then bam, 104 catches, 1,233 yards, 8 touchdowns, John Mackey Award. What do we need to know about Tyler Warren ahead of the draft?
Well, let's keep going with those stats because he had 26 rushes for 218 yards and 4 touchdowns. He threw the ball 6 times, completed 3 passes for 35 yards and a touchdown, and had a 16-yard pooch punt. So if you want a guy that can literally do everything, that's Tyler Warren. And
Cam Scadaboo, to be fair, says that the punting lacks.
Yeah. Look, it wasn't great. He only made it to the 22, so it would have been better just to bring in the punter and have him booted out of bounds out the back of the end zone. But I think Tyler Warren is such a unique weapon that we saw in 2024 that he almost becomes hard to categorize. He had that late breakout, like you mentioned, Matt, and don't let Jared poo-poo who Tyler Warren was behind. He was behind Brenton Strange, who was the 61st pick in the draft, and an incoming freshman. Warren's not going to get much playing time. Then he had Theo Johnson as well ahead of him, was 108th pick last year, 9.93 RAS score, super athlete. And Warren gained on Johnson almost every season until they were 50-50 in 2023. And then this year, without those two players, Tyler Warren really exploded. He's not Brock Bowers. He doesn't have that type of speed. I think Warren's probably more of a 4.7 player. But he's tough. He loves contact. He's a great hands catcher, probably the best hands catcher of the tight end group in this entire class. He's maybe not going to beat you down the field, but there's tough contested catches in the middle of the field. He's not going to get bullied. He pushes around linebackers. He pushes around DBs. Tough blocker, knows how to get open. And just every single little thing that he does is impressive. And that's why he's likely to be a top 12 pick in the NFL draft.
And wasn't he a quarterback coming out of high school?
He was. And, I think that shows the athleticism and the versatility. We talk about the tush push. He actually can't do that in college, but that's what they had him doing, was taking some of the snaps directly under center, sometimes in the Wildcat, to pick up that third and 1, 4th and 1. That was Tyler Warren's thing. If you draft him, I don't see how you don't put him out there at the goal line or 4th and 1 and maybe get the tush push going if it's still legal by the time the season starts.
And that position switch could be just one more answer to, hey, if he's so good, why didn't he produce earlier in college besides the competition? I mentioned the John Mackey Award. Here are some of the other recent winners of that. We had Brock Bowers each of the previous 2 years, Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts, Harrison Bryant, TJ Hawkinson, Mark Andrews. That's just going in order back through 2017. So a pretty good record of the John Mackey Award producing NFL tight ends, both for, real NFL and for fantasy usage. Jared, what do you think about Tyler Warren?
I think Tyler Warren is a little bit overrated at this point. And I'm not going to take anything away from the 2024. It was a huge season. Obviously, the big raw production, you look at some of the other metrics I look at among the 21 combined tight ends. Warren ranked 2nd in PFF receiving grade. He was 3rd in dominator rating. 2.78 yards per route run, all really strong stuff. My issue, as Shane was alluding to, it came as a 5th-year senior. He basically did nothing over his first 3 seasons, 15 total catches. And then, like Shane said, split time with very similar production to Theo Johnson in 2023. And both guys were 4th-year college players at that point. And I get, Theo Johnson is an NFL caliber talent, but he's nothing special. So that's all a concern. To me, what Warren is best at is the yards after catch stuff. 6.7 yards after catch per reception last year, really strong number. 7.7 yards after catch per reception in 2023, top-notch stuff there. The college rushing production is cool. It's unique. Is that going to carry over to the NFL, though? I don't think an NFL team with better running backs and more athletic wide receivers is going to use Tyler Warren that much in the rushing game. Even Brock Bowers did that in college, right? He had 19 carries, 5 rushing touchdowns in college. Last year in his rookie season, 5 carries for 13 yards. So I'm not going to project Warren for much rushing value as a pro. My other concern, he hasn't been a downfield threat. He has a 7.5 yard career average target depth, 6.9 yard ADOT last year. Only 6% of his targets over the last 2 seasons came 20 plus yards downfield. He was almost exclusively a short range after catch guy. And again, he's good at that. I think he'll translate to the NFL, but I don't know if he's going to provide much big play downfield stuff as a pro. So I think Warren's awesome. He deserves to go in the first round. Again, I think he's a bit overrated now in both dynasty and redraft circles, where he's been going in these early best ball drafts. I haven't been taking him.
You can find more from Jared on Tyler Warren at IHateFun.com. Shane, The rushing thing, I agree that we shouldn't really look at it as this is what he's going to produce in the NFL, but it tells us that the team really wanted to get him the ball beyond just throwing it to him, 100 and whatever times they did. So it's instructive, I think, on the breadth of the talent and maybe what the upside is. But do you share any of Jared's reservations?
I do. I understand where Jared's coming from completely. I think we would love to have seen Tyler Warren break out as a first or second year player, but that just wasn't in the cards. And then the rushing thing, yeah, he's not going to run for 200 yards in the NFL. But I do wonder if teams might use him on goal line situations under center. If you don't have a Jalen Hurts, if you have Jared Goff back there, or whoever, a quarterback, could the team put Tyler Warren back there? And could we get an extra 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns out of him? I think that could be intriguing from a fantasy perspective.
I could see the tush push stuff. We saw the Ravens do that with Mark Andrews, not necessarily at the goal line, but in some, 4th and inch is stuff, outside of the red zone. So maybe Warren does that again. It's going to be landing spot dependent. At least pre-draft, I'm not going to credit him too much for, rushing projection as a pro.
Yeah, we're not going to project 3 touchdowns, but, we'll see what happens. You can find Shane's full breakdown of Tyler Warren on draftsharks.com.